The route administration of exposure to cadmium are through inhalation, oral, and dermal. The anthropogenic activities can cause a release of cadmium which lead to a polluted air and inhaled into the lung. Then it reaches blood circulation and form cadmium cysteine complex. Oral exposure is related to diet and consumption of contaminated water and food into the intestine. Other than that, the percutaneous absorption of cadmium from water and soil into and through human skin. It is by binding of a free cadmium ion to sulfur-hydryl radicals of cysteine in epidermal keratins. Meanwhile, the common type of beryllium which used in electronics and toxic upon human exposure is beryllium oxide. Route administrations are via ambient air, drinking water, and diet. Mainly, the absorption of beryllium oxide is through lungs via inhalation. After inhalation, beryllium oxide settles in the lungs and moves into pulmonary blood circulation. It might also move into the mouth and followed by swallowing of beryllium naturally through clearance of the throat and ciliary mucus. The amount of beryllium oxide that absorbs into the gastrointestinal capillaries is below 1% because it is highly insoluble in an aqueous environment. Therefore, the GI tract does not absorb it. Further explanation for distribution of cadmium and beryllium. Once taken up by the blood, the cadmium is transported and bound to the proteins, such as albumin and metallothionein. The first organ reached after uptake into the GI blood is the liver. Cadmium induces the synthesis of metallothionein, which lead to hepatocyte apoptosis. Cadmium metallothionein complexes are washed into the sinusoidal blood, enter the enterohepatical cycle by secretion into the biliary tract in form of cadmium glutathione conjugates. It is enzymatically degraded to cadmium cysteine complexes in the biliary tree and cadmium re-enters the small intestine. Meanwhile, beryllium becomes protein-bound and deposits over a long period in the liver, spleen, and skeleton despite a portion being excreted by the kidneys.